Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and I just got a nice little box here from halfway across the world, and what's in it? If you guessed miniatures, you are correct! Of course it is. So yeah, I got a big, well not a big, but for me comparatively big, order from none other than, as I fish through all this stuff, Heresy Lab! So yeah, Heresy Lab. Been doing quite a few successful Kickstarters, and I gotta say, I've always been happy with the quick turnaround. I mean, even despite the pandemic, they've been rolling on, and just the sheer amount of models that Heresy Lab has released at this point is something to be pretty impressed about. Quality of the resin has always been nice. I know a lot of people, the big sticking point can be the scale. A lot of these figures tend to be a little bit on the larger scale, which for me, I like. I mean, I'm not going to mince words here. I prefer it. Yeah. Think about that. But besides my own preference, I got to say a lot of this stuff is quite nice and is going to be fun to take a look at. So this is from their Amber Husaria lines. They put out a bunch of very Mordheim-esque, grim, dark looking warbands, and I really like that they've gone in that direction of kind of doing their own thing. And when I say doing their own thing, I mean being inspired by some obviously famous warriors of the old world. So this is one of their undead warlords. I'm a sucker for spikes and trophy racks. Multiple limbs and backpacks full of stuff. And it goes back to when I was in preschool. Which is sad. I distinctly remember it was a Black Star figure, Tonga the Leopard Man, had a backpack full of weapons, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Am I dating myself by mentioning that? Yeah. Are some of you going to go probably search that up on Google? Yeah. I won't deny you that joy. So, like I said, these are good-sized figures. These are cast resin. Now, I know Heresy Lab does offer up STLs as well, but you can see here, kind of big. Which, again, okay for me. Maybe not so much if you're doing old hammer, old school stuff. I don't know what some of this is. I'm like looking at these figures and I'm trying to figure out what have I got myself into. So we had our totally not Krell. Not that I have like multiple variations. Another thing I'm a sucker for is not having models in focus, and besides that are witch hunters. Look at this guy just decked out. Witch hunter, inquisitor types. I like how he is just laden with all his gear. Good solid chunk of a figure. Comes equipped with a crossbow. Pistols. A sword. And more pistols. Where's your other hand, man? What are you holding? Oh, okay. I'm like talking to myself, and so I think he's supposed to be holding the crossbow in one hand and then a pistol in the other, and he's got all the other gear. Okay, gotcha. Let's see what's in this bag. Somewhere I have some of their actual Amber Husaria Winged Hussar type dudes, and I just haven't come across them yet. Here's the body. Oh, okay, this is one of their Nightly Knights. I think this is from a previous campaign, but quite detailed. Do I have need of fancy knights? Probably not, but you know what? It kind of, again, goes back to my childhood. Ooh, and look at these fancy helmets that I can't get in focus. That's better, I guess. That is fancy. Oh, it's like a lion head if my fingers could get out of the way. Interesting. And a more stately, normal-looking helm with quite the ornate get-up. The Lion Knight. Nice ornate sword. And something slipped between my fingers there. A feather fell off. No! Okay, you know what's weird? Whee! For some reason, I have another of the exact same body. Thanks, Heresy Lab. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but okay. I have that extra head. That's kind of nice. I don't have any extra hands, but I guess we can figure something out. Here's another knight. Again, other than a little bit of cleanup, for the most part, pretty solid casts. A little bit of cleanup on the mold lines there, but, you know, if you're worried about models that are going to have too many thin parts, I don't know if that's going to be an issue. You know what would be neat is if I could use these extra heads on that extra body. Like a stag helmet there. You don't have a shield. Then again, you are running around with a two-handed sword, so that's probably why. Alright, this is some kind of nefarious looking dude. Highwayman or something. His face all masked. He's got skulls on his back. He's got knives hanging off of... I'm assuming those are knives. Maybe they're poison. And a big old casting gate we got to take care of. The remainder of his cloak. A foot with another... I think that's a dagger. Or maybe it's a leg brace. Now, these smoking sensors are going to go on his back. Kind of a weird, nice touch. Tactical rock. Can never leave home without those. A torch. Good for Frostgrave type stuff. And a pointy finger. And a sprue stuck on my wedding ring. Okay. Fun, fun, fun. Hopefully I don't mix all these parts up, because that's what I'm afraid I'm doing here. That's okay. Add to the challenge. Okay, here we have a rather Eastern European looking witch hunter lady. Looks a bit high ranked. Not like some of the Cossack type guys that they had in the campaign. I don't think I ended up with any of those. I'm not sure what that is. Feathers? Maybe feathers for her hat. Cutlass. And a bow. Never understood models modeled with cutlasses or just swords and bows in their hand. At least she does have a quiver. That's a good start. Surprisingly, I think I only got one of their winged hussar guys. Well, let me rephrase that. I only think I got one on foot. Again, good size models, so if you're like me, as you're getting older and your eyesight isn't what it used to be, never fear. But our friend here is going to be dual-wielding sabers. And I can't tell if the bottom of the hilt is broken off or not there. Doesn't look like there's much on this one, but that's not a huge loss. Can't have a winged hussar without the wings, right? So there's those. And finally, I mean, if I'm going to have a winged hussar, he's got to have a horse. So we went ahead and got one of the horseback hussars as well. I like this. Now, you guys may know my feeling on cavalry models. I don't dig painting them for whatever reason. They do cause me quite a bit of anxiety of just having to paint both of them. And you'll notice that the bottom half of him is sculpted on. Those are some chunky guns there, too. But I think once all is said and done, it's going to be quite nice. Horsey tail. More wings. And a horsey foot. And this guy's got his cutlass. I thought about getting one with a spear, but I thought, nah, let's be dramatic. Let's cut down our enemies up close and personal, right? I believe he's holding the reins to the horse there as I drop those bits as well. So, quite a bit that I'm going to have to put together here, and I feel like I've been rambling on for quite some time. So let me take a moment to pause and get this stuff built, and we will take a look at it after that. And, by the way, there are bases included, so if you're worried about that, fear not. So sit tight, let's get these guys all put together. Okay, we got our new goodies all put together here. For the most part, everything went together great. So here we have our hunched over little hunter type guy, armed to the teeth, and it looks like it's supposed to be standing on a ruined tombstone. These guys are so perfect for games of Mordheim, I think. Yeah, obviously some of them are a bit too well equipped and a bit too heavily armed and armored. But the style, I mean, in worst case, you're not going to put them in Mordheim, put them in Frostgrave. The only thing is they are going to be a little bit on the larger side. These are 32 millimeter bases. They're all on. I know that looks far away, but it's just the way the camera wants to cooperate lately. Here we have our Undead Champion. One of my highlights, personally. Really dig that backpack. Well, back, rack, whatever. He's big. He's really tall. Especially with the banner thing on there. Our Witch Hunter Inquisitor type friend. Looking quite nice. That's the thing. I've really dug the more unique sculpts that Heresy Lab has been putting out. I really feel like they're headed in the right direction with what they've been doing with their fantasy stuff. They've definitely put out some interesting sci-fi things, but I feel like they are really on fire when it comes to their fantasy offerings. Although I will say, I did order a couple of their Terminator-style models I've been wanting to take a look at, so hopefully we'll see those soon. Our Winged Hussar type dude, advancing slowly through whatever ruined city he plans on looting or defending, possibly. Yarnam, maybe? I figured out why there was an extra body. So the original one that I looked at, the arm hadn't fully been cast. The forearm was missing completely. So that's why this is the second body. And stupidly, I glued everything to the other one, but then I realized, oh crap, he doesn't have a forearm. So thankfully, I was able to fix that. I really like these knights. I feel like they should be in nice, bright, vibrant colors. And then ruin everything with a big wash of Agrax Earthshade, probably. I don't know why. It reminds me of something out of Dark Souls, too. Dark Souls meets Bretonia. I had to go with the animal helmets. I like the fact that they came with the extras. I know that was an option, I think, originally when these guys were kickstarted, but I had to have them. I figured we'll find a use for them. And finally we have our Cossack-like female hunter with her bow and saber. She's a good head or two shorter than some of these guys. Oh, I forgot my actual mounted Hussar. So I didn't actually finish gluing this guy. That horse of his is super chunky. So it was really difficult finding the actual connection points for his wings. There were 4 little nubs, and I don't even know if those were the correct spots, but I just drilled out a little bit and made a spot to glue him. And then his arm didn't want to fit either. It's a bit more obvious from that side. Wow, it's really bad. I thought I did a better job than that. Shoot. But yeah, it didn't really want to fit, and I carved out a good chunk of his body to get that on there. Not that it made a huge difference. A little bit of green stuff can go a long ways, right? So, like I said, these guys, they're big. Like Primaris size big. If that's going to be an issue for you and you like to have everything in scale with each other, yeah, you may want to hold off a little bit or get creative with your basing options. So you can see here with a Frostgrave model, which to me is kind of like what Mordheim used to be scaled at. He's quite short in comparison. Oh, come on, Lion Knight. I mean, even our Witch Hunter friend here is noticeably shorter than these guys. And again, the camera starts shaking. I'm not even touching it. I'm not touching anything, and it's like moving. And he's looking for a shoulder to lean on. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just too far zoomed out. Some of you techie guys may have an explanation. If you do, let me know. I've been looking into getting a new camera anyways. I don't like doing this with my phone so much. I mean, like, our undead champion is almost the size of an ogre. That's pretty crazy. Are they as big as an Avatars of War guy? just about. So something to think about if you're going to want to mix these in with other brands, other lines, other genres for that. On their own, or I think if you mix them together, I know Heresy Lab has offered up quite a few different fully functioning warbands. I didn't glue him all the way either. I don't know if I mentioned that, just because I need to get in there to paint. It's going to be a really hard hassle. Whee! I think if you were to... How big are they compared to Conquest, as I lose my train of thought? Huh. Actually, that's not bad, other than the camera being wonky. Check that out. I mean, these actually might work really good with Conquest models. Huh. Huh. Interesting. Well, obviously, unfortunately, our poor female friend here is definitely going to look a little bit more out of place. Maybe it's just that one guy is a bit more in scale. I don't know. Plus, Conquest scale has gotten a little bit better and more refined as they've gone and moved away from the original plastics. So I can't fault them for those starter set guys. But honestly, like I said, Heresy Lab at this point has got full actual warbands of various types. So if you wanted to update and replace your old and classic Mordheim models, that is something that is definitely doable. Something to think about, obviously, if you are interested or in the market for new figures. We'll put a link down below to Heresy Lab's website. I'm sure they run Kickstarters pretty regularly that offer some nice savings. So even if you don't see anything that jumps out at you right now, a lot of times they'll post that stuff on their website as well. So it's always worth taking a good look at and seeing what's coming down the pipeline. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye. Bye.